Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Marcos Villegas, and this is Fight Hub TV Live Chat. We are July 13th, the year of our Lord 2020, and welcome you to the chat. Welcome, everybody. Ryu, AR Wyoming, what up, what up? Marcos Devi, what's going on, guys? Glad for you guys to make it over here. Gonna wait for a few more people to get in on the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and tweet this out. Already, let me know what you guys thought of the fight over the weekend, man. Masvidal versus, this is good stuff. Masvidal versus Usman. Let me know what you guys thought about it. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna try to multitask while I'm chewing this thing in front of you guys. I apologize. So I got my friend to order the fight, and it was like $70. And, I thought with Masvidal being in the fight that it was going to make it a lot more exciting. But I did think in the back of my mind, dude's coming in with 6 days notice. I worried how the fight would turn out. I thought, okay, if he's approaching this fight with 6 days notice, he has to do one of two things: either blitz him in the first round with everything that he has and just kind of be like, hey, whatever happens, happens, or conserve his volume and his output to kind of pace himself in the fight. Notice right away after when the first round was finished, he was tired, man. The dude was tired. You could just tell in his body language. You could tell he was a little bit sluggish after that point. I'm surprised he made it to all 5 rounds in there, but my friend's a casual, so he was pissed that he had to spend. I told him I'd split it with him, which but he was still pissed that he had to pay the money to watch the fight that he didn't really like. He didn't really like the other ones. I thought the Aldo fight was pretty good, actually. Live chat, boom, log on. All right, just got to make sure to tweet this out. All right, let's see here. Masvidal wasn't going to win that. It was so boring. Wyoming, yeah. What's up, Chuck P? What's going on, bro? Thank you so much. I had fun with Sinisa. That was a really good interview. You know what? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That fight was boring, dude. It was boring. It was boring. I know a lot of people said like the same thing would happen if Masvidal had a camp that he specifically trained for Usman. I think he would have been a lot better, better conditioning. Would have looked a little bit sharper in the fight. Now, if it would have been a different result, I don't know. I want to say that has a huge impact, man. When you aren't training for a specific fighter and you go into the fight. Yeah, Marcos Levy, what's up, bro? Hey, Wildcard King. I know who you are, dog. What's up, bro? Just talking about the Masvidal versus Usman, how a lot of people thought it was boring. I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of a little bit of a boring fight. I expected more, but I think one of the reasons why it turned out the way it did. We'll touch on that Tank and Red Catch farm. When a guy has 6 days notice on a fight and he's been kind of training and hasn't been training for someone in specific, it was obvious that he got tired, to me at least, after the first round. Hands were up. I know he always does that, but he just didn't look as sharp as in other fights. I tweeted after the fight, give Masvidal a 6-week camp and run it back. Let's see if it's any different or not. Obviously that gives Usman 6 weeks to go ahead and train for Masvidal. He could end up doing better, but at least Masvidal will be in better shape and be able to throw a little bit more and up his punch output for the fight. So my casual friend was not happy with it. He thought it was a super boring fight, and that's how I usually gauge if the casual fans like a fight or not. In terms of what he likes or doesn't like, because he's super casual. He's not a hardcore and all that when it comes to MMA. All right, yeah, the Tank and Red Catch sparring. All right, so so like since I ever entered like this boxing game, okay, it was always told to me that filming sparring is like a no-no, even if like you're part of the camp or like if you're fighter A sparring fighter B, it's like a huge no-no. You don't film sparring. It's like an unwritten rule that you don't really. It's when you're a media person and you go to see the sparrings, they tell you, hey, they make sure to remind you, hey, just to remind you, don't film the sparring. You're not allowed to film sparring. You could watch, you could take photos, but do not film the sparring. They tell you that. They're upfront with that. Yeah, that was. I bet it was. I bet it was. So I'm a little bit surprised that they. How long was it? I think it was like a minute of the sparring, or like 45 seconds. 45 seconds, but it was 45 seconds where Tank was teeing off on Ivan Redcatch, and obviously, you don't know how supposedly they sparred 6 rounds, and if you look at Redcatch's post on Instagram, he's pretty pissed, but I would be pissed too because we saw him getting the crap beat out of him in that sparring clip, so it makes him look bad, regardless if that would really happen in a fight or not. He has a right to be pissed because, yeah, like I mentioned, it's an unwritten rule. And they're not showing the full sparring session. They're showing the part where, Tank was doing well. And here's the thing, man. Same thing with how Paulie Malignaggi was bringing up the point when he sparred Conor McGregor and how he was like, hey, why don't you release the whole sparring? Why are you just releasing that clip where you make yourself look good and I look bad? Yeah, Ryu, see? And it brings up the same thing, You could do a lot when you pick and choose what you want to release. And I'm not saying at all that Tank didn't get the better of him in the sparring session, but I'm saying it's easy to dictate the narrative when you're the one that's controlling what's getting released. So, Ivan, of course, angry, wants to spar again, said, hey, you're not supposed to do that. I know a lot of fighters on Twitter were on today saying that they don't get this new generation of fighters releasing sparring footage like that. That's a big no-no. They don't respect like the rules of the past. And it's the same rule with MMA. You don't really film sparring, even though MMA is a little bit more lax when it comes to that because they do a lot of like drilling sparring. I've been able to film drilling sparring in MMA. So, it's usually when the fighter's sparring in camp, they're training for a specific fighter and they want to they're working on the game plan, how they're going to fight the fight. So they keep that under wraps. Today we sparred Lipinets and no video was allowed. It's work for our kid and out of respect, we all agree. Plus Joe is old school. Yeah, Joe would have flipped the F out if that would have happened on his watch. I know Joe. I work with him. He's very old school. He would have flipped the F out. What's up, bro? Hurricane Hank says clout chasing. Yeah, I don't know much about Austin Trout and that lawsuit with the WBO. I read an article on a boxing scene last night about it, and I'm a little confused. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, AR Wyoming TV. He's asking for transparency, and he's suing because he wasn't he was taken out of the rankings and never given a reason why, and not put back on the rankings, and not given a title shot when Liam Smith was given a title shot, and that's what he's suing them for. Let me know, AR, if that's the reason why. But that's what I got from that one article that I read. I've never heard of anybody suing them for not giving them a title shot. I honestly don't know where it's going to go. It's a sanctioning body. It's not like they're regulated by the federal government. Boxing's not regulated centrally like other sports. It's their own organization. They could go ahead and rank whoever the heck they want because it's their organization. Just same thing. If I throw a party, I can invite whoever the hell I want, regardless of whatever. Same with the promoters. They could credential whoever the hell they want because they're private companies. So I don't know the full thing of that, but millions is the payout he's looking for. Yeah, I read that. They're going to go bankrupt if it favors on their side, because I don't think the WBO has like $40 million as capital that they could just go ahead and throw out there. Chain TC, what up? Salute. Rocchigini almost took out the WC for the same thing. That I do remember. They were going to file for bankruptcy. But yeah, I don't. We'll see what happens with the Austrian top case. I didn't know about it until I read it on Boxing Scene last night. Yeah, $40 million, dude. Imagine if he wins the suit and they have to pay him $40 million. Regardless, say they don't even pay him $40 million. Okay, say they're like they go ahead and they settle, and the settlement's like $10 million. He just got like a huge pay-per-view type payday, $10 million. He's good. He's already made. Well, I like to think Austin's already made a good amount of money, and he saved his money. I hope to God that he has been saving his money and has been frugal and has been saving. The Canelo payday was good. He's an Al Heyman guy. All Al Heyman fighters get paid pretty well. So let's see what happens. Brandonian, what up, bro? I think he's suing for not getting a title shot. And Cotto payday, that's very true. Not getting a title shot, and I think it's more of an issue of the transparency of the rankings. He got thrown out of the rankings and then wasn't told why, and then other people got title shots and he didn't when he was up there in the rankings. So I think that's his big gripe with the WBO. Fury Joshua UFC 4. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk, because this is on the thumbnail and it got me really, really pissed that they're doing this. All right, so I thought about this for a bit, and there is a pro to this. Okay, so UFC released a new game, UFC 4, with Street Jesus, Jorge Masvidal, and Israel Adesanya on the cover. And then they revealed that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are playable characters in the game. First two thoughts immediately was, what the F? Why are they doing this? Okay, it's kind of cool. And why didn't they include Deontay Wilder in it? Like, the heavyweights obviously are back, okay? And Deontay Wilder is a big reason why there's excitement in the heavyweight division. Over these past 2-3 years, I want to say he's probably the main reason why there's excitement back at heavyweights, because he was knocking fools out left and right in spectacular fashion. So, like, for them to leave him out, the guy that you can make an argument is the whole reason why there was excitement generated again at the heavyweight division, I thought it was really, really weird. Just because he lost a fight with Tyson Fury, who cares? Joshua got knocked out by Andy Ruiz. Come on, you know? So I didn't get that. So the other thing is, I don't know, man. These things piss me off. So the good side to this is they're exposing two boxers, heavyweights, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, to a different fan base, to a different crowd. So those guys are going to play as Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. They're going to become fans of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and they're going to be aware of them the next time either or has a fight. So it's a win-win for boxing as a whole, having two guys there in an MMA game. It's just weird. It's like, why is EA doing this? Other than maybe they're trying to generate interest amongst the public, amongst boxing fans, little by little, for another fight night game. But if you're going to put two boxers in it, might as well just make a game already. Make a game. How many years has it been since they made a fight night? It's been years and years and years since they've made a fight night. I have the last fight night, so I'm looking right at it in my little video game cubby over there. It's just, if you guys are going to spend the time and effort to go ahead and put those two guys in there, might as well just make the damn game. Like, they get tweeted at all the time to make an EA game. You had Eddie Hearn that talked to the people at EA, telling them, "Hey, make an EA game, make another fight night, make another fight night, make another fight night." You have everybody gets online on social media, is always at them, always tweeting them, "Make another fight night, make another fight night." obviously there's the demand there. Okay, now it does come to a simple thing of economics. With any, this is how the video game industry is. It's all about units sold. Okay, so you can make like the best, most critically acclaimed video game ever, but if it doesn't sell, those developers aren't going to make a sequel. Case in point, Chrono Trigger, probably one of the greatest games ever made, ever. Surely one of the greatest RPGs ever made, one of my favorite games ever. They never really made a direct sequel to Chrono Trigger. Yeah, they made a sequel to Chrono Cross. That one sold relatively okay, but you have this cult-like fan base asking for a sequel for it, and Square doesn't want to do it for two reasons. One, it's too high expectations because that game is seen as like holy grail status, a masterpiece. It's going to be difficult to recreate what they did, and yeah, that is true. And how are they going to be able to bring back the three producers, the dream team, back together again to make the game? And the other thing is that the first Chrono Trigger game didn't sell very well. Now go back to this UFC and comparing it to the Fight Nights. The UFC games, I believe, sold more than the Fight Night games. So that's a huge reason. Why are you going to make a game that's not going to sell as well as another game that's selling well and it's easier to make to get the licenses for everybody? Boxing's a mess. It's funny. Boxing's such a mess, it trickles down to even the video games, getting all these likenesses as well. It's been done. They were able to do it with Fight Night. So, people bring that up like, oh, Chuck, you're bringing it up right now. Got to holler at every boxer for licenses and rights. They already did it once before. They can do it again. It's not a impossible thing, okay? They can do it. It's been done before. They did it in the past. They can do it. It's just a matter of there being enough market interest in a Fight Night game. And I always say, I've mentioned it before in like 2 or 3 other live chats. I actually spoke to the producer of the UFC game years ago, 3-4 years ago, and I asked them directly, why isn't there a Fight Night? What the heck? And they said their concentrations, the UFC games, because they're easier to make, because everybody's under one roof, and they sell a lot more than the boxing games. So, I guess we as a community, we as fans of the sweet science, need to just keep pressure on them to make another game, because this is what happens. Those Fight Night games were played by casuals, and we need casuals. We need casual fans to watch boxing so they turn into actual fans of boxing, because boxing is still considered a niche sport here in the United States. Look at boxing worldwide compared to the United States. In Germany, it's huge. In England, it's huge. Everywhere, boxing is huge. It's one of the top 5 sports in those countries. In Mexico, it's soccer, boxing. England, football, boxing. Everywhere, Germany, football, boxing. Everywhere but the United States, where it's a niche sport. It's like cricket, foosball, boxing, cornball, hot dog eating, and then everything else. It's become such a niche sport. And, a lot of stuff has happened over the years because of that. Look at the product right now. Look what's being shown on TV now compared to what the UFC is showing. Yes, I understand. The UFC is different. Everybody's under one roof. The payment structure, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, I get it. But look at the quality of fights that they're giving us, okay? We just got Masvidal versus Usman, 3 title fights happening last weekend, and what do we got tomorrow at the Top Rank show? Who's fighting? Who do we have in that Top Rank show tomorrow? Now, thank you for Top Rank for putting on fights, because I am grateful that there is fights. But I'm just making an example of the product. And yeah, Top Rank's the only promoter putting on fights. The Zone's going to come back in 2 weeks. They have a pretty decent card. Showtime's going to come back. PBC's going to come back. I hope they have decent cards. But it's showing you the quality of the product, of the fights they're putting on and have been able to put on, and then the fights boxing's been putting on. First fight boxing came back was Shakur versus that guy. It was a terrible fight. It was a boring fight, man. Shakur's a star. He's a great fighter. Nothing against him. He couldn't do anything. That's just the guy that was put in front of him. But the fight sucked. It was a boring fight, you know. So that's my hot take. I don't know, you know. Make a game, EA. What the heck, man? We got all these people here that want a boxing game, and you know it's like free money, dude. Go ahead and make the damn game already. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go through some of your guys' comments, bros. At the time they released Fight Night, there wasn't enough high-profile fighters like there is now. They had to use a lot of old fighters to make it work. Currently, we have plenty of top-level fighters. I agree. Plus the old ones. So that I think it's the perfect time to go ahead and do it now. You know, who's the next Babe interview? So I take it some of you guys saw that interview that I did with Sinisa. Sinisa's super, super cool. She's great, always great to talk to. You guys let me know who's the next Babe interview you guys want me to do, and I'll go ahead and do it and put it on there. I can't do girls who choose flour over corn. Shaking my head. I bet she can't. You're terrible, Art. Yeah, she's a very lovely. She's a very lovely to look at. Chavez Senior said Manny's the greatest of all time. What? When did he say this? Send me a link about that. If you guys haven't seen that interview that I did with Sinisa, that's what they're referring to. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link on there for you guys to watch right now in the description so you can have it on cue when this chat is over. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new to the chat, what's up, man? We do this every Monday at 8:30, 8:35-ish, somewhere around there. And subscribe to the channel, please. Help us continue to grow and help us get to a million. I was saying we need 200,000 more subscribers to get to a million subscribers here on YouTube. To help us hit that milestone, please, and go ahead and follow us on social media as well at FightUpTV. Follow me as well at Hey It's Marcos V on the Instagrams and the tweets. I'm gonna drop that link for you guys right now with Sinisa if you guys haven't already seen it. Boom, it's right there. Ebony, you want me to do Ebony? I actually know Ebony. Well, I don't know, but I've talked to her. Like I know who she is. I'm seeing a Michaela Mayer. Michaela Mayer probably will. We can do that because she has a fight tomorrow. It probably makes more sense to do Michaela because she's coming off of a fight. All right, I'm going to read some of these comments that you guys have about the EA game and just some other stuff right now too. Here's a good question from Marcos, when do you think that boxing started to go on the decline? I feel as if it took a dip after Tyson retired and then was resurrected when Money Mayweather came into the mix. Who are you asking about if she's single? Who are you talking about? So the whole boxing going into decline. Obviously I have limited perspective on this because I've only been watching boxing since the late 90s up until now. I think this is probably a better suited question for someone who's been in the boxing industry since like the 70s, someone like a Larry Merchant, an Al Bernstein, Steve Farhood, someone like that. I think what probably started it is boxing going away from network television and going to the cable providers. That's never a good thing for a sport in general, okay? Yeah, I understand that HBO had great fights for boxing. But did you imagine the NBA moving to HBO? The NFL just moving primarily to Showtime? Terrible, no. You want to have your product be distributed to the masses, to as many people as possible. So I think a big thing because of that was boxing not being on ABC, not being on NBC, not being on CBS. That to me signaled, just based on what I see, sort of the start of the decline. Obviously, after Tyson retired, and there's kind of like a vacuum, no big star. Obviously boxing does well when the heavyweights do well, and for such a long time we had heavyweight. We went from Ali to Sugar Ray Leonard to Tyson to Oscar and Floyd. So I think that's a big reason as to why boxing went down. The belts made it confusing. Obviously, I believe in like 1990 there was only three major belts: the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC. And then the WBO came into play during that time. It's just really confusing. Fighters not choosing to fight other fighters, Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield. When they dumped the belt, and look how long that took to happen. There's a lot of, like, Roy Jones for like the longest time was fighting. I don't want to say bum of the month club, but he's fighting these guys that weren't really well known. And then Pacquiao and Mayweather having to wait 7 years for that fight to happen. All these things added up. As to why people were turned off from boxing, and a lot of people that watch MMA were boxing fans. I've noticed there's a big crossover there with combat sports fans in general. There's a lot of people that enjoy MMA that enjoy boxing. When I put the link there, bro, it doesn't work. What do you mean? I don't know. I think something's wrong with your browser, dog, because I clicked on it and it works. Amanda Rivas is a cute. See, now you got me distracted thinking about Amanda Rivas. I don't even know what the heck I was saying before. Oh, yes. Over marinating. That all hurts the sport, but I think the biggest thing in order for the fan base to grow, for the popularity in boxing to grow, is to have it on network television. You need to have a sport on a terrestrial TV station. The UFC is on ESPN, ESPN Plus. Okay, every other major sport has a network deal. PBC is on Fox and FS1, which is great, but we need more boxing on terrestrial TV. This goes into my thing with DAZN, that I'm not sure if DAZN's good for boxing. Yes, we've gotten great matchups on DAZN, and it's great that people who have a DAZN don't have to pay pay-per-view prices anymore, but you're taking already a niche sport and you're putting it into an even smaller niche market. You're taking boxing already, a small sport that needs as much eyes as possible, and you're taking it to a platform that doesn't have a lot of eyes. So what good is that doing the sport? It's not growing it, because you're not distributing it to as many people as possible. That's not helping the sport grow. Yes, you're putting on, a lot of the time, really good matches. You're paying these fighters well, which I applaud. That's good. I'm always in support of fighters getting paid more, because they should be getting paid more. But when you look at it, you can't. It's like, imagine if they took the MLS or soccer, and then they just put it on DAZN, okay, or a sport that's struggling to get popularity, tennis. Okay, imagine they took tennis away from network television, they put it on DAZN only. People would be outraged. It'd be like, hey, why are you taking tennis away? What position are you leaving tennis by putting it on a platform that is struggling and has had trouble keeping subscribers? What benefit are you doing to the sport there? So, and I like the people at DAZN. A lot of them I consider friends. They're good people. I don't want them to get laid off. I don't want any of them to get laid off. But I've asked myself this question: is it a good thing or a bad thing if a sport moves to a small platform like DAZN, where there's even less people watching the sport? The last two fights that Canelo had, Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, and Canelo versus Daniel Jacobs. I have I have friends that are Canelo fans, okay? Canelo fans, they ride and die for Canelo. They didn't even know Canelo was fighting Jacobs, okay? And they're like, what the heck's going on? How did I not know Canelo was fighting? See, that's the effect that can happen when you take a sport or certain fighters away to an even smaller platform than they were before. Yeah, there you go. Kovalev and Jacobs. There you go. A lot of people didn't know about that Kovalev fight. So I still continue to ask this question to myself: if DAZN has helped boxing generate more fans, new fans and help the sport grow. Plus side, okay, I'm reading this comment here. Plus side is that, obviously, when they first started out, I don't think they were giving us the best matchups, but we've gotten some pretty good matchups. So that's the plus side. And obviously, you pay your $20 and you get Canelo fights for not free, but I'd rather pay $20 than pay $80 to get a Canelo fight, especially against someone like a Fielding, a Jacobs, a Kovalev, compared to that. So that's my thing. I always think of. I always think major sports need to be on terrestrial television. And it's great that they're on Showtime, HBO. That's good. It helps. But major sports need to be on free-to-access television to enable the fan base to grow and to get more fans and to get people interested, because every other sport is on free-to-air television. Boxing needs to stay on free-to-air television, and boxing, in order for it to grow, shouldn't just be on an app that not a lot of people know about yet, or not a lot of people have jumped on fully on board. I hope they're successful, honestly. Like I said, I know people that work there, and they've been good to me, very, very good to me. It's good if they're successful, because if they're successful, that means the sport is in a healthy place where there's consumers that are willing to spend money on boxing. That trickles down to everything from the fighters to the promoters to the YouTube channels. There's dollars there to be spent on a sport. That's always a good thing. So that's just my little side rant on that. And that, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that DAZN's done a good job growing the sport of boxing, or not? Let me know. Let's see here. Pugilism Company, go ahead and shoot me a DM on the at Fight Hub account, and let me know what's up. Had DAZN, okay, no, that's not a real comment. DAZN is more modern take on boxing promoting. How so, Hank? Let me know. How's it a modern take? I like what they're doing on social media. That's for sure, man. Their social media is on point. They know what the heck they're doing on social media. Their social media is funny. I like what they're doing on social and all that. But in terms of promotions for their fights, I don't know yet. Let's see. No, they haven't. They have weak cards. It's still new, I guess. They need time. DAZN needs more time in the U.S. They're doing good outside the U.S. Yeah, they're doing good with other sports outside of the U.S. No, they keep letting Canelo duck Charlo, says Reggie Davis. I'm in the bubble, so I wouldn't know if it really grew. ESPN just stole DAZN move with subscription, so how we're going to say it's bad. ESPN Plus is a great little platform, to be honest, too, as well, because you get, well, if you package it with Disney Plus, that's a phenomenal package. I'm just saying. I'll gladly pay my $10 to get Star Wars and Marvel stuff and ESPN Plus, which is the only one that I have actually right now is ESPN Plus. I don't have DAZN, but I've said that previously because we do like a subscription share where we all share our passwords. So my pot is Amazon Prime and ESPN Plus. So still needs more time, still adapting to a new system, says Husam. What's up, Husam? I don't think I've ever seen you here in the chat. Welcome to the chat, bro. Gentleman's Game. My main problem is paying $80 for a pay-per-view for weak-ass fights when PBC does not want to work with other networks. Valid point. Boxing's had a problem of putting on just terrible undercards. But it's because a few reasons. One, there's a complacency of it for many years already that, this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. Everybody's there to see the main event. Nobody cares about all the other fights. Okay, all right. Well, if that's the case, why are you even putting an undercard then if no one's watching them? Just go on with the main event then, The other thing is the economics, that 90% of the purses are going to the main eventers, and they don't have enough money or in their budget to pay the other guys on the rest of the undercards, or at least get bigger named fighters on the rest of the undercard. So the last time we had like a legit main and co-main in a boxing event, I don't know. What do you guys think? When's the last time we've had a legit main event, co-main event on a boxing card? How many years has it been? Let me know, guys. I'm gonna give you guys time to go ahead and input your thoughts. I already know the last time for me, but let me know when's the last time you guys have seen a legit one. Yep, Grizz already knows. Explain ESPN Plus, Marcos. Are the pay-per-views its own prices, or are they still over $50? So ESPN Plus is okay. Some of you guys are already inputting what I feel was the last time, and that was like back in 2013, which is freaking terrible, man. 7 years ago. 7 years ago that we got a good main and co-main event. UFC's doing that right now during a pandemic, giving us legit co-main events and main events, man. So like, boxing needs to get its ish together when it goes and does a pay-per-view, man. Whenever these next Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko, Wilder Fury 3, I don't know if this Charlo fight is going to be pay-per-view. I highly doubt it. Canelo, it's going to be a DAZN fight. But those two fights, man, they better be stacked freaking fights. It better be a fire co-main event to ask people for $70 for a boxing card that historically has given us crappy co-main event, crappy undercards. All right, especially now with people just stressing over money. Okay, they better be stacking these cards. That's all I'm saying. Or people are not going to be buying these pay-per-views. Man, once they announce that card and people see that, then I don't know. You know. Lopez Loma, September, yeah, without fans. Yeah, I don't think, it trips me out. So Australia, okay? Jeff Horn's going to fight Tim Tszyu August 26th in Australia. And they're going to have 16,000 fans. It's going to be an open arena. It's going to be like a normal freaking fight over there in Australia. But because Australia has a very low COVID rate, and they could possibly be opening it up even more, as AR Wyoming TV says. That just blew my freaking mind when they announced it. And it's like, what the hell is going on over here, man? How is it Australia is being able to put on stadium shows with 16,000 people, and we can't get our ish together over here in the U.S.? It's just, man. So, yeah, I hope I can go to Australia and I get clearance from the government to go over there because I want to get out of here. I want to live life again. I'm going to go to Australia. I'm going to go to New Zealand. I'm going to cover the Jeff Horn-Tim Tszyu fight, all right? I'm going to resume living like a normal person. But, yeah, that's a trip that they're going to have that many people, 16,000, if not more, to watch Tim Tszyu and Jeff Horn fight. Oh, man. Good for you, Australia. Bad for us here in America. Ebony Bridges said it wasn't bad there. Yep, I have a friend in Australia. She tells me the same thing. It's not that bad over there. Who knows for how long or if it's a temporary thing, but yeah. Okay, let's continue. It's also stupid business mindset of, instead of having a bunch of great fights on one card, let's spread them out and have multiple cards instead to make more money. Yes, I couldn't agree more. That's it. All comes down to a business thing as well. When it comes to that, that's very true. But I think with this, whatever cards we get now, they're not going to be like 14 fights. It's going to be like 5 to 6 fights in total because it mitigates the risk of putting on the fights. They got to go in with limited everything. So. Now, maybe they might be able to stack these undercards like before. I don't know. We'll see. Reggie Davis, not a fan of Jeff Horn. You're not a Horn dog, bro? Reggie Davis? You're not Jeff Horn's #1 fan? Don't tell Keith Thurman that. Don't tell Keith Thurman that Jeff Horn did beat Manny. Go hunting you, bro. Grizz, Logan Paul has a lot of people that watch his content. Now, in terms of fans, I don't know. I don't know if he has diehard fans. KSI has diehard fans. I was there at that fight that he had with KSI. And the majority of people there were KSI fans. I hardly ever saw any Logan Paul fans. And even KSI said in an interview that I did with him that a lot of people watch Logan Paul's stuff, but Logan Paul doesn't have a lot of fans. So I could just go by what I saw in the arena that night, that a majority of the fans there were KSI fans. And I was surprised because a lot of them traveled overseas to go and see that fight, which blew my freaking mind because a lot of them were like 13, 14-year-olds. Never been to a fight ever, guys, ever, where the bar was completely empty and there was no line at the bar. It's because you have a bunch of these teeny boppers that were there to watch these guys fight. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Nobody was even watching the fights. I remember Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders had their fights, and instead of watching the fights, they were trying to. The fans there, the kids, were instead looking to which YouTubers were arriving at the arena. That was their focus. There's video of them. They pan to the fight happening with Saunders or with Devin Haney, and then they pan to the fans there, and the fans are looking at YouTubers coming in, and that's where their focus was. It's the weirdest freaking thing. Yeah, Chuck. Reggie's not a horn dog. That's what I call the horn dogs. Jeff Horn's fans, the horn dogs, the horn doggies. Do UFC babes videos. Well, give me some suggestions, guys. What UFC babes? What boxing babes? So we'll get them more on the channel, right? Tell me what the F he did to Jeff Horn, that one Keith interview. Yeah, Keith was a little heated there. It scared me for a little bit. I wasn't sure what's going to happen there. I had to tone down my energy a little bit because I was not sure what the heck was going to go on after that. He does make millions of merch, like millions. Who makes millions in merch? Let me see that. Jose, al pastor or carne asada? Man, I grew up in Tijuana. Carne asada, dude. I'm all carne asada all day. Okay, I got a request for Paige. Okay, and we'll put that in there. We'll reach out to her via Instagram. She probably won't answer. I'm going to see who manages her and see if we can get her on there. Gentlemen's game. There's also a possibility that the COVID-19 might flare up when the weather cools down and will again halt boxing. We're not even seeing the big fights until next year. Oh, man, don't say it, dude. California just got shut down today again. Freaking sucks. Gyms are closed. Bars are closed. God, don't say that, man. Do not say that. Here's the thing, man. It probably is going to flare up again. You know, the doctors have been telling us it's going to flare up again in the winter. I don't know. Maybe Australia is like a bastion of hope, like a lost world. Because okay, Australia is its own continent. It's pretty secluded as it is. Nothing can get in or out in Australia because it's its own continent. You know, there's no other landmass borders in that continent, you know, so maybe that's the reason why they haven't been affected there, because they can essentially just lock down the country. Nothing goes in and out. The cases that they did have over there just end up dying out and phasing out because the virus can't spread to people, to a lot more people. It can't be successful in doing that, and it just kind of dies out there, and they don't get a huge case like over here, you know. So yeah, man, I don't know. It just sucks that this thing hasn't gone away yet. And I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theory loop thing, but we got shut down here in California. Can't go anywhere. It freaking sucks. People are fed up. I think that's part of the reason why. People aren't listening anymore because they're just fed up of being inside and they want to live. And yeah, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Not a good day for Marcos today. Chain TC, I do these streams every Monday, 8:30, 8:35ish, somewhere around there. Thank you, AR Wyoming. What's up, bro? NJNP. Yeah, you're right, bro. People aren't taking it serious anymore. People are over it. Yeah, man, I agree, dude, because Because we just want to live again, man. That's why. And it's like, okay, people in general are very disciplined. I've been pretty good with social distancing, staying away. I'm already like half hermit as it is. Sometimes I need time to be by myself and I'm fine. Like I'm okay if I don't talk to anybody for like 2-3 weeks. I'm totally cool with that. Some people need social interactive every single day. But people are just over, man. People want to do stuff. They're stuck being at home the whole time. That's part of the problem. Is that which is unfortunate. You're in a situation where like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And just a bunch of other things that are contributing to this thing, man. But yo, Australia, I'm jealous, man. Let your boy in. Let your boy in. Cover Jeff Horn versus Tim Tszyu. I'm gonna stay there in your country for the next 2 years. I'm gonna be doing this show from down under, guys. If I find a way, if there's a chick out there, just like how chicks from freaking Estonia and these other countries look for guys to give them that magical green card, they look for that citizenship. Yo, Australian chicks, you guys are already fire as it is. Let me get that green card for Australia, please. Let me get that ticket. Your boy needs to live normal life again, man. Shoot, let me in there. I'll be covering boxing from Australia, man. I got you. I got you covered. Everything Jeff Horn, Tim Tszyu, and all those other guys over there. Ebony, all those people. I got you. I got you. Let me in there. I'll even go to Australia, go see freaking Joseph Parker as well. Just let me in the damn country. Let me get out of here. I want to get out of the U.S., man. It's a freaking shithole right now with everything going on. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible. We got Jerf or Tszyu. I've never seen Tszyu, to be honest. I don't know what he brings to the table. I know Jeff has more experience. He's a very tricky guy, very unorthodox, but I'm not very sure. Jose something, favorite gangster movie? That's a good question. Favorite gangster movie? Let's see here. Casino, off the top of my head. Excellent movie. What are your guys' favorite gangster movies? Training Day, but is that considered a gangster movie? Are you talking about like Italian gangster movies? Or like, other type of like gangster movies, Let me know. What are your guys' favorite gangster movies? Because to me, Casino is a great movie. I like Casino. All of them. Horn is a heavy underdog in that fight. Yeah, I was surprised. Godfather. Oh, that's right, man. Godfather. Even though part 3 was kind of part 1 and 2 were great. Part 2 is my favorite, actually. American Me, what's Paid in Full? Paid in Full. I've never heard that. Scarface, it was okay. It's okay. Sorry. I saw Scarface later on in life, and I thought it was okay. Boys in the Hood, legit. Love Boys in the Hood. I never saw the Gotti movie. Kamaru's favorite movies. Man, come on. The foot stomps are an effective technique, man. They hurt like hell. I bet you Masvidal's foot's all bruised up, bro. Who else used foot stomps in MMA? A lot of the old school guys used to do it. No one's in particular is coming to mind off the top of my head. Bronx Tale, never saw it. I need to see it. Disappear. Loma versus Teofimo. Teofimo is a live underdog in that fight. If Lomachenko hasn't been training, Lomachenko underestimates him. If Lomachenko's off, rusty, Teofimo is going to put it on him, man. Teofimo's going to put it on him, but if Lomachenko is on point, should be able to outbox him. It's just he's on a different level if he's still on that level, even though Teofimo's going to be able to take his punches a little bit better, I think, than anybody else. Menace to Society. Favorite gangster movies, Jacobs versus Charlo. What happened to that fight, man? Jacobs versus Charlo. When they confronted each other at the Barclays in New York, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I had so much high hopes for that fight that it was going to happen. Both had Al as an advisor. Both wanted the fight, and we haven't gotten the fight. We're seeing Derevyanchenko versus Charlo. Why not Jacobs? Jacobs is there. Jacobs is at super middleweight. Okay. Tell Charlo to go to super middleweight. He's saying that he wants to go to super middleweight anyways. Charlo's always getting into altercations. NJMP's not a fan of Jacobs. Thoughts on Loma versus Ryan Garcia one day? Not going to happen. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think by the time that Ryan's at that point, Lomachenko will be retired. Lomachenko's old, guys. You got to remember that. Lomachenko's in his, I'm going to say close to his mid-30s already, right? I think he's like 32, 33. He got some miles there. 2 Olympics. He's, nature at some point's going to take its toll on Loma, and might be soon, might be later. Who knows? But he is a lot older. Ice Mingo, what's up, man? Welcome to the chat. Subscribe to the channel now. Okay. Why don't they want to fight Boo Boo? I'll tell you why they don't want to fight Boo Boo. Because he's a dangerous matchup. It's a difficult guy. It's a lose-lose situation there for a fighter. You go into that fight, you could end up getting embarrassed and have a boring fight where people don't want to see you fight anymore because of that. So it's a huge risk, man. It's a huge risk. But you know what? Give Boo Boo this. He's a champion, man. Give him these fights, bro. Come on. You're supposed to be fighting the best. All these guys. Number 1 supposed to fight number 2. Number 3 supposed to fight number 4. Come on, let's get it. That's how it should be. UFC does that. Come on, man. No more of this cherry picking. That's what's going to elevate the sport of boxing. Number 1 versus number 2. Number 3 versus number 4. Number 4 versus number 5. We need more of that. Who cares if they're slick or a difficult style? Don't you want to know you can beat this guy? They say it's so difficult that's supposed to shut your offense down. Don't you want to show you're that good that you're able to nullify this guy and make it so that he can't take away your offense? That's the whole point of being competitive. That's the whole point of calling yourself the best. To quote Ric Flair, woo, to beat the best. I so screwed that up. To be the best, you got to beat the best. Oh, man, I had my moment and I blew it. Meow, meow, meow. Womp, womp, womp. Thoughts on the Jorge Usman pay-per-view numbers? Jorge's a star, man. Jorge's a big star. Look at that. On a week's notice, Jorge comes in. They get 1.3 million pay-per-views. That's all Jorge, man. Come on. That's not Usman. Usman's not selling those pay-per-views. Get out of here if you think that. Come on, bros. That's all Masvidal. So the UFC has a legit star in Jorge Masvidal. Okay? To be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! Oh, I didn't want to get too loud there and make your eardrums bleed. Dang, we're still on the Gangster movies. Donnie Brasco. Did I see? Yeah, I did with Johnny Depp. Dude, okay. Did you guys hear this story? I know this is random. And I'm a random person. I'm all over the place because I have ADHD. So I don't know if it's true or not. Someone sent me a tweet. Okay, let me know if this is true or not. If you guys can, you guys are all going to be my Jamies. Okay, you're going to be my verification squad, with verifying information. So supposedly Johnny Depp's ex-wife took a shit in his bed and he divorced her. That was the final straw of their divorce. They already had problems, but I guess she decided to drop a deuce in the bed, and the next day he filed for divorce. Is this true or not? I saw a thing about it, and I looked at it, laughed out loud, and said I could not believe it. Posted it on my Instagram at HeyIt'sMarcosV and said, Johnny Depp does not take shit from nobody, which is the truth. Yeah, Purple God. That's what I said too. WTF. Same reaction. Yes, yeah, she's very, very hot. She's a very, very lovely. Good to look at. Someone's telling me, yep, it's true. Hurricane Hank. Okay, I guess it's true. Can you verify that for me, Hank? I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was fake, but I don't know, man. Let's see. You and Purple God are giving me indications that it might be right. She abuses him for a long time. Wait, how does she abuse him? Are you serious? Is that for reals? Husam. How? Let me know. I don't follow celebrity news at all, to be honest. But I just find it hilarious. How is it your wife as a prank? Well, okay, women, okay. Word of advice from a guy and from all of us bros, okay? Do not take a dump in your husband's bed as a prank, all right? That is not a funny thing. I don't know why you would think that'd be funny to just take a dump in the very bed you go to sleep with. You're going to get residual doo-doo stains on the sheets if you're taking a nasty, wet, steaming dump. I don't understand how that's a good idea. That's a funny thing for her to do. Yeah, and the smell. Yeah, not a good idea. Don't blame Johnny Depp for divorcing her. That's freaking weird, man. The girl's disgusting. Oh, Donatella, hey, nice for you to join the chat. Rick Gilles, Marcos, you a beast. You always ask good questions. Salute from Chicago. Yo, what up, Chi-Town, man? I love Chicago. Hopefully one day I get a chance to go back. I was just over there in February, dude. Love Chicago. Great city. A lot of history, man. I took a lot of history tours over there in Chicago when I was there, man. Love that place. Food is top notch. So thanks for tuning in. Everybody who's here on the chat for the first time, make sure to subscribe to Fight Up TV. Please, guys, I need a big favor from all of you guys. Make sure to recommend our channel to all your other boxing fans that are not subscribed to our channel. We want to get to 1 million subscribers. I want that gold play button so freaking bad now, man. Please. And also follow us on social media at Fight Up TV and at Hey, it's Marcos V. Yeah, it's super cold. You guys had like a polar vortex over there last year. It's like negative 30 degrees in Chicago, which is nuts, man. Who's there's audio footage? Wait, so you're telling me Johnny Depp recorded his wife taking a dump in his bed? No. This sounds no way. Send me a link, please, of that. I want to hear all these audio footages. And yes, NJNP, she is nasty. Who in their right mind is going to take a dump in the same bed that they go to sleep with? You kidding me, man? Man, people these days, for real. So how's that funny? I understand taking a dump in front of somebody's doorstep and lighting it on fire and knocking it out is funny pranking. But come on, man, taking a dump in the bed that you sleep in? Come on, dude. Yeah, I'll be glad. Yeah, exactly, Rick. And it was watery. How do you know it was watery, Art? I hope not. Yo, Marcos, would you consider a transition into the music world or movie world media? Nah, I'm not well versed enough, I feel, for my own good in that world. And I love boxing, man. I love interviewing these fighters, dude. 99% of these fighters are good guys. They're good chatting with. And this is, I guess, I know a lot about this because I've trained a lot in boxing and combat sports. And I like it. I don't know if the movie stuff. I don't know if I can go and do that. She had him flinching during the interview. Oh man. Okay, you guys got to send me the links of this. I was not aware that his wife was punking him and abusing him like crazy. It still seems kind of hard to believe, but send me these links. I want to see this because this is intriguing now. Okay, that's okay. Yo, I spent like a whole good 10 to 12 minutes ranting about this EA game. Man, you missed it. Go back a little bit on the stream to this to hear my take about the game. Jose something, do you have a boxing background? Yes, I know how to box. I've been training in boxing for 10 years now, man. I started boxing when I was 26, but never had any amateur fights or never had any professional fights because I don't want to get hit in the face for reals. But I wrestled my whole entire life, had a ton of wrestling matches, MMA, done and trained, had a ton of MMA sparring and everything like that. So what's the worst problem you've had when interviewing a boxer? Then tell me that they don't want to do the interview. And then me telling them, well, why don't you want to do the interview? And then saying, because you said some stupid shit. And then me going, well, it was in reaction to what you did. So who's the stupid one? But for the most part, no, I haven't been in any really problems when interviewing guys. For the most part, the boxers have been really great, really respectful. And you know what? Honestly, I go into the interviews, anybody I'm interviewing, if they've done something scandalous, if they've done something controversial, I always allow them to give them their chance to respond and give their take. I think that's really important. I'm not one of those type that's just like attack, don't even make a chance. I always give them a chance. I always give them a fair shake to get their point across or their take across on whatever it is. And then from there, I bring up the stuff if it's controversial or something like that, excuse me, that they do. But I always tell the guys when something like that happens is that I'll always give you a fair shake when it comes to that. T City, is that who you're referring to? Brian Ortega, he was just training at the local gym over here in Costa Mesa because I know one of the trainers there. He was doing mitts for him, so I think he's training. Yeah, disappear. Yeah, I haven't had a lot of trouble, to be honest. There's been a few boxers. It's very rarely, no more than like 3 or 4 that have told me to my face, "You're not getting an interview." And there's only one that I can remember that's just kind of been minorly annoyed over something that I said or something over Twitter, and everything like that. But it doesn't it doesn't last for very too long, to be honest. For the most part, the boxers, and I'll always vouch. No, I'm not going to name them, Chain. Very rarely do you encounter someone who's just a really bad guy, who's a freaking complete prick. Majority of these guys are really, really nice guys, the boxers. Marcos, do you remember your first big interview? What was it like? Yeah, man, I'll tell you something, a short one. So I think my biggest one early on was an interview that I did with Floyd, and I got Floyd exclusively for about like 6 or 7 minutes, and he told me no at first, actually. Because I was some punk kid. I wasn't even dressed right. I had like a T-shirt on, jeans. I looked like a fan. And I just went up to him. And I was like, Floyd. I remember I kept calling his name, Floyd. Floyd, hey, Floyd. Floyd, can I get an interview, Floyd? And Floyd looked at me. He's like, who are you with? And I had snuck into that Mayweather-Mosley press conference. I lied about the outlet that I was at because I knew they were going to tell me I couldn't come in if I told them I was with Fight Hub, because at that point, Fight Hub was just starting. We're very, very small. I don't think we had more than like a few thousand subscribers, if 1,000 subscribers, if that. So I said I was with the magazine, which was a magazine, which I knew the guy who was the owner of the magazine, but I wasn't doing any work for them. I just, I had his card. I flashed it, said I was on assignment as a way to get in. So I told Floyd that I was with the magazine, and he's like, what the heck? I've never heard of that magazine. And he just turned around and started signing fans. And I told him, Floyd, please, I'm brand new. I'm up and coming. Just give me a chance, please. And he's signing. He shook his head. He looked at me and said, you're up and coming? And I'm like, yeah, man, I really, really appreciate this. And Floyd looked at me and said, you know what? You're young. You're up and coming. I'm going to give you a chance. So we did the interview. And I pressed Floyd some pretty hard stuff. I directly asked him, do you personally believe is Manny Pacquiao on steroids? And I asked him that twice because he wouldn't answer the question. And at the end of the interview, he gave me a big bump. He said, hey, everybody support this kid. He's young and up and coming. He needs your guys' support. Support him. I'll never forget that, man, because Floyd didn't have to do that. He didn't have to give me the interview. First off, I was just some punk kid that snuck his way into this press conference. And just by chance, I was able to get Floyd. And I never forgot that. And I've it's been a while since I've interviewed Floyd. He's not as easy to get for interviews anymore, which is sad because, I actually did like interviewing Floyd. And I was 26, 27. But I remembered it so much, and it was always on my mind that when Floyd went to jail, I actually wrote him a letter from jail thanking him for doing that for me because of that, I showed that interview clip to all the other promoters in boxing, and it gave me legitimacy. It said hey, look, I interviewed Floyd. The interview was good. I conducted it professionally. Please let me into your events. Please let me into your press conferences. And they did. It opened that up for me to do interviews. So when Floyd went to jail, I wrote him a long, I want to say a 2-page letter, just telling him, hey, you probably don't remember this event, but you might recognize me. I was doing work for the Boxing Channel with Al Bernstein at the time. I'm Marcos. I work for the Boxing Channel. I've interviewed you many, many times, Mexican guy. You did this for me, and I've never forgotten it. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for you doing that. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. I asked him, hey, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying positive. Can't wait for you to get out and get back in the ring. And yeah, I sent him a letter in jail. I don't know if he ever wrote it. Ever had a chance to read it. I've been wanting to ask him for the longest time now if he did read it or not, or if he even remember. I doubt he would even remember. I'm sure he got a ton of fan mail, but yeah, I just want to tell him, like, yo, dude, I wrote you in jail. I'm just wondering if you ever read it, and I just wanted to tell you thank you, man, for helping me out that day, because it actually did help me out early on with people allowing me into the events. And yeah, I've always appreciated of Floyd giving me that chance, because he could have just like laughed and walked off. Because I've seen that happen with other guys, where like they'll tell them, oh, I'm with so-and-so, and the fighters will be like, who, what, I've never heard of that, and they'll just like walk off and do the interview. So that's my little Floyd story when it comes to that. So all right, you guys, you're the man now, Marcos. Nah, I'm not there yet, bro. I'm not there yet. When I have my own radio show or TV show, then maybe I'll be a little bit where I want to be. But yeah, not yet. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the live chats. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. Yeah, Yeet. How did you manage to deal with getting rejected for interviews when you first started out? I got rejected for a lot of interviews, bro. I've always been very, just my personality, my character, very headstrong. You tell me no, I'm going to find a way or another way to go and do it. And I think, that's helped me out a lot, where someone will tell me no, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to find another way to do it, or who else could I go to? I've always been very resourceful, very resilient as a person ever since I was young and everything like that. So that's kind of how I deal with it. Obviously, I get frustrated, I get angry when they tell me they don't want to do interviews, or I can't do an interview with fighters. But I always think like, okay, what can I do? And I think for anybody in a situation where they feel that they're down, or the chips are stacked against them, you always got to think two things. And actually, this was told to me as a word of advice. That's very true, HK. As a word of advice from an ex-girlfriend, because I used to stress over the small stuff all the time, and it would get me aggravated and pissed off. And she'd tell me, like, you need to stop stressing over the small stuff. He's like, you know what my mom told me? I'm like, what'd your mom tell you? She told me, don't stress over a problem. A problem is only a problem if you can't fix it. That's when you need to start stressing. And I started thinking, like, what do you mean? Like, a problem is only a problem if you can't fix it. Like, I'm dealt with bill problems all the time. And I'm like, you know what? Those bill problems I can fix. I get a side hustle. And I got to think, how can I make extra income come in? And that's when I started thinking, you're right. All the things that you think you have problems are not really problems. They're solutions to that. You could do things that make them go away, but you really need to start stressing when it's something you can't fix, or you can't fix very easily. So that's when I started to not really stress over the small things, or think, you know what? If I get one roadblock, how do I get around it? What resources do I have available to me to help me get that goal, or at least get close to that goal? So that's how I've always dealt with that situation, where it's like, oh, I can't get a interview or something like that. Like, well, who can I get, or what can I do, or what resources are available to me to go ahead and do it? So hey, thank you for that, HK. I appreciate that, bro. Really, really appreciate that. That's a word of advice I could impart to you guys. It's always been in my character to be like that, but don't stress the small stuff. It's not worth it to stress over, say if a bird takes a poop on your car or on you, or you're stressing over, other things. Don't stress over things that aren't going to affect you 5 years from now. Don't stress over something you're going to forget in a week, in a month. Only stress over things that need to be a little bit stressed over about, because at the end of the day, by you stressing, it affects your health. You know, I've seen it firsthand with my mom, man. My mom's a stress case, and I've seen her health go down and down and down over the years because of stress. So that's why I try to manage what stresses me and what doesn't stress me. That's why I try very, very hard not to get angry at certain things, even though I do get angry a lot, but I'm a lot better than when I was in college. So yeah, if I could leave something for you guys in terms of how to deal with life situations, it'd be that thing. Those two things. Don't stress over something that you're not going to stress about 5 years from now. And also, it's not a problem. It's not a real problem if you can't fix it. Because if you can fix it, there's a solution, and it's not a problem anymore. But the moment there is no fix, then you need to be stressing because that's a real problem. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, NJMP. Chuck, thank you for that. Is Canelo going to leave the zone? I don't think so, man. He signed a contract. He has to go through his contract. He has to have, I think, 6 more fights before something like that happens. Unless he buys himself out, but that's a lot of money to buy himself out with that. So, great advice. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. All right. No, I can chat for a little bit more, bro. I can chat. I can impart more life advice. We'll keep this going. You thank you, man. No, I'll stay on a little bit more. So keep him coming. Man, it's hot in here. Dude, it's so hot today out here in California. Oh, man. Chuck, what about for new YouTubers? So I get this question asked a lot. Okay, so this is what I know firsthand. Obviously, I'm not an expert in YouTube. I'm always learning about YouTube. I'm always learning new things. The moment I think something works, something else comes up, and I'm like, shoot. Half the time, honestly, I think I know what I'm doing, but I don't. So for anybody that's looking to jump on YouTube as a way to make money, you need to stop. Okay, don't think of YouTube as a way to leave your job. I tell everybody this: it's not going to happen. And this kind of stuff doesn't happen overnight. This kind of stuff doesn't happen like that. It's not how it works. Okay, just like any job, just like any career path, it takes time. You got to build momentum little by little by little. Start YouTube part-time, turning it into full-time. I started YouTube part-time and turned it into full-time. Very rarely do you see people making YouTube a living a year in. It's very rare. I think the most important thing for any YouTube content creator are a few things. But the most important thing is you have to be consistent with the content that you produce. Okay? Imagine in terms of this. Say you're a network, okay, that just bought the rights to a TV show, okay, and you air that TV show, you have a premiere, and then you don't air the next episode for a month. People aren't going to watch that show again, because you're not consistent. What TV show airs a show and then waits a month and a half to air the next episode? Can't do that on YouTube. You got to be consistent. You got to pick your days that you're going to upload your content. And you got to stick with it. Say you pick Monday at 6 o'clock. You got to stick with that because your subscribers, your followers are going to know, hey, Monday at 6 o'clock, Joe Schmo Nachos is going to go and upload the favorite video that I love watching them for. So you got to stick with a consistent schedule, and you got to be consistent with your content because that's the reason why people are coming back to your channel is to watch consistent content. The other thing is you got to be creative and you got to find your niche. I was lucky when I got in this YouTube stuff. Boxing was a very underserved niche digitally. There wasn't many people doing this. There's only 2 other people, and one other one was probably the only one that was actually doing it on a consistent basis on YouTube, not overall online, but on YouTube. It was like the ground floor. When I started at 2009 on YouTube. YouTube had already been out for a few years, but it was still like the Wild West. And boxing was very underserved then, so I got in at a good time. So you got to find your niche. And what I mean by that, say you like let's see here. Say you like food, okay? You're like, man, I love food. Like I want to be a food blogger or something like that. I'm like, okay, all right, that's good. Can you get more specific than that? You want to be a food blogger, but what kind of food? Can you find if there's a specific type of food that you want to blog about? Say if it's like New Mexican cuisine, or if your thing is you want to bring attention to food from countries that doesn't really get attention from like really unknown countries. So you got to be very specific with what you want to do. You just can't be like, you know what, I want to do a fitness page about fitness. You got to be specific. Well, what type of fitness? What type of workouts are you going to do? What type of workouts are you going to show? You got to be very, very specific, because YouTube is like a very niche-driven thing now. Before you could do that, but not now, because there's so many channels, so much competition, so much content being made on YouTube that you can't be so broad anymore. You got to be really, really narrowly focused. I want to make a shirt about yellow shirts. Everything there is to know about yellow shirts, how they're made, the designs behind yellow shirts, how we get the color yellow. You got to be specific, very, very specific. Also, you got to be creative. You got to see what's working on YouTube and create your own spin on it as well. There's a certain amount of formats on YouTube that are available right now. There's challenges, there's how-tos, there's like the history type of the informative videos. I have it listed down, but there's about like 7 types of formats on YouTube that have been proven to work amongst the other segments of YouTube, which is like humor, beauty, comedy, and all the other ones. So you just gotta make sure if you follow those things, you will grow a fan base, and you'll get some money coming in. I didn't get money coming in from YouTube till 5 years in, because back then the YouTube partnership program was not as strong as it is now. So you can't think of it as this is going to be, I'm going to quit my job right away and just focus on YouTube. It doesn't happen like that. You got to put in the time, and little by little you start noticing that you'll start getting momentum, start getting a fan base to do it. But it's not a thing that happens instantly. It's a lot of work that you got to put into it. A lot of work. How long did it take you to start getting better traffic on the channel? I got lucky, Chuck. I got really, really lucky. The first video I did that I posted on Fight Hub, it wasn't even named Fight Hub. And the first video I posted got 30,000 views. It was a stupid video. I was chugging a beer against somebody by the name of Reggie Warren, who was like an MMA personality. And me and him just had a beer chugging contest. That was the first video I posted on Fight Hub. 3 weeks later, I did a video that got 1 million hits. And that's when I realized that I needed to create something with the channel, and that I was onto something, that this wasn't normal for me to have started a channel and in 3 weeks get something that went viral and got 1 million hits. So I've been fortunate with that. I've been very fortunate that I guess I got in at the right time, right place. But that's what I would impart advice-wise is you got to be consistent with your content, and you got to be personable. These live chats help a lot to build a following around you as well, and that's with any. They tell people this in hosting classes too. You got to be super personable, super relatable, and that's with anything. Look at the U.S. president. I was taught this as a kid in my political science class. That our teacher did an experiment with U.S. presidents. He showed us a picture of candidate A and candidate B and asked, who would you rather have a beer with? And every single person that we picked that we'd rather have a beer with won president. So you got to be relatable as well, and you can't be afraid to be vulnerable in front of people as well. Because that's what gravitates people towards you. So that's my imparting wisdom for YouTube. I heard YouTubers make more money on merch than videos. Yeah, some of them do. Some of them are really good shirt slangers. And yeah, they do make a lot of money on merch. You got to diversify. You can't just rely on the YouTube revenue coming in, because YouTube's kind of weird with how they pay in terms of their CPM and all that. It's a lot of factors, man. It's dependent on also, which countries are offering the biggest CPM. What ads are being put on there. If you have like a funny interview and someone curses, YouTube can deem that not ad friendly at all as well, and that kind of messes you up. They've already had an ad apocalypse already, with the whole the kid-friendly stuff too. A lot of kid channels got affected. The kid segment is big business in YouTube. I think it's like the biggest money-generating segment on YouTube as well. So there's a lot of factors. So they always tell YouTubers to always think that diversify. Don't only have your content on here on YouTube, but in other places. Which reminds me, hey, if you guys have Roku, go ahead and download the Fight Up TV app on Roku. We are on Roku, man. Get all your Fight Up TV content and more on Roku. We're on there as well. And we got some other things brewing to spread our content to other places. So that's some advice there that I would give you. All right, guys, if you're new to the chat, subscribe to our channel, please. We are on the road to 1 million subscribers. Please help us get to 1 million, bros. If you know somebody that loves boxing, tell them to subscribe to the channel. And go ahead and add us at Fight Up TV on social media, at Hey It's Marcos V. For my personal, an hour and 20 minutes into the live stream. Okay, you guys, I think we're going to end it. I think we're going to end it on that note with my imparting wisdom on YouTube. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in, for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. A lot of videos that were up over the weekend, that interview with Sinisa. No, I've never bought subscribers ever. All of this has been organic over the years, even though there's other channels that do buy subscribers. There's other channels that do buy views. It's not good for you. It ends up biting your channel in the butt with the algorithm. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate this, and we'll be back next week, Monday at 8:30 or 8:35, somewhere around there, 8:30-ish, something like that. All right, guys, peace out. Have a good, productive weekend. Not weekend, good, productive week. Sorry about that. I'm already thinking about the weekend. Good, productive week. Ats to boots, guys. Let's get it, all right? I appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and see you guys next week. See you later.